I think in terms of ballroom and adulthood, because many people in ballroom are adults and have stressful jobs or stressful lives and stuff like this, I think my only ethos is to make someone else have like a great time, and however I can do that, that's what I want to do. So regardless of all the barriers, with every no, there's a yes.
Hello everyone, I'm your host Rai and welcome to Chai with Rai, a weekly podcast in which I bring on a guest from the creative industry and we discuss all things life and culture. Now, if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. If you love this podcast and are listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, or wherever you stream your podcasts from, if you could do me a kind favor and make sure to rate the podcast on whichever platform you're listening it on. It organically grows the show, connects us with listeners who haven't tuned in before, and puts the podcast in top spaces for all the streaming sites. As well, feel free, and I encourage you to tag us whilst you listen to this on the TikToks, the Twitters, the Flitters, the Grams, the Pinterest. It's coming back, y'all. I just think Bebo and High Five and MySpace, where are you guys? Like, come on, let's step it up. Just share it on everything. Share it on the WhatsApp group, because overall, this just shares the love and the message of the show, as well as all of the guests that are on here. Now, without further ado, let's warm up our cuppas and let's dive into some chai spilling, some tea spilling. I'm going to make it not sound corny, but the final part of my chat with the one and only Jay Jay Revlon. Do you ever think when queens are coming up and they're not involved in the culture and all this is the veneer or the layerness of just the TV, or as a consumer, it becomes their responsibility to go and kind of like do the research and, you know.
Do you know how you say you want me to answer this quickly, but your question is so loaded. You're not choosing one. You're giving me like 4 options to read. But I would just say is like, if you're not in the culture,
just do yes or no.
Stand to the side. If you're not in the culture, stand to the side. If you want to be in the culture, do the work. At the end of the day, Olivia Lux now Liv Miyake Mugler because she had to do the work. The girls who feel like they don't have to do the work, stand to the side. So you'll be sadly mistaken when it comes to a function. When it comes to a function, of how known you are, but actually for the talent you bring to the floor at that time. So it's best on you to educate yourself first and not feel like you can assign yourself to a culture just because. That's how I really feel like. Yeah, if you're in the culture, go off. Like, look at Banji. She's in the scene. She's been in the scene for a while. Oh no, she just started like a couple of years ago. Lux is a Mugler. Slam yourself in the middle of the mist because you'll be lost in the desert.
Quickly answer the difference between a ball and a Kiki, and what are your 3 pet peeves about them and what excites you? No, not 3. One thing that is a pet peeve and one thing that excites you about them.
What are they? If I was playing it for football lads, Kiki scene is kind of like Premier League, and then major scene is like World Cup.
Does it look like I have a target audience of the football leagues?
I'm gonna say that is for the football league. Let me continue.
Okay.
For those that don't understand that reference, basically Kiki scene originated out of like for a younger community to engage with the ballroom scene. And the major scene is like for people who are like 18, 21 and above, usually 21 and above, just because I'm working out on New York basis. Pet peeve of Kiki or functions is when people don't come out within the 10 seconds that they have, or the 10-second countdown that they have, and come out on 1 or 2 and stuff like this. No, you're wasting time. It's not fab. That's how I feel about that. It really is a pet peeve of mine, because I'm like, the thing is energy, when energy is here and you do that and you bring down the energy, it's harder for the next person to do that. Obviously, it's like, maybe that's a gameplay, but usually it's like a surprise. Or you're going to do something like this, like come out with full energy. Don't come out on one, like no, like you don't come out like that. Period.
Do people a lot?
Yeah, I just feel like it brings down the energy, and I feel like for me as a DJ or me as a judge, like I'm engaged. And the moment that someone is wasting the time of the space, like we don't have this space all the time. We might not have this space again together for 6 to 8 months. You know, you just never know. So we need to like make sure we are using the space and the space time within the time, basically, or even and then great thing is seeing the community together, seeing everyone screaming, losing my voice, not being able to hear, ears ringing for 3 days, everything that comes with it, the stress, the tiredness, the lack of sleep. Sometimes I'll go from the ball straight to a plane. I love all of that. I'm shattered as shit. I love it, like completely.
All right.
It really like humbles me. I always have a great experience. I feel recharged, even though I'm dead to the ground. But yeah.
All right, I'm liking the speed that you're answering. And now let's quickly bash these out. Your first ball to now, what have you learned as an attendee and as a participator versus an organizer? And any advice to somebody wanting to get involved as a first-time attendee, participant, or organizer?
Be ready to learn. The whole thing is about being ready to learn. Overall, is ready to learn. From the first time to this time, from the first time to now, not 5, 9, 8, too many years down the line. Many years. I never know. Too many years down the line, I've learned that learning is your way of growth. There's nothing else. If you think you're a bad bitch, okay, be a bad bitch, but be a bad bitch that's ready to learn. Don't be a bad bitch that think like you know it all because you don't. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about it. Like it's all education across the board.
I mean, I don't, because I don't think I'm a bad bitch, but you know.
Even if you don't think you're a bad bitch, be ready to learn, because bitches don't feel like they need to learn shit. And we all need to learn shit. It's all about learning. I hate the education system, but Ballroom is definitely about learning.
But you just don't get your SATs or GCSEs at the end. Just want to let you know that.
You can, you know,
and you don't get a student grant. You just don't get a student grant.
Ballroom is as hard as being an architect at this point.
I can only imagine. What categories I'm intrigued to know that you started with and still do? And is there one thing in Ballroom that you haven't done that you would like to do?
Yeah, I want to walk body on sex siren.
You've never
maybe realness? No.
But you show most of it all the time.
Doesn't mean that I need to walk the category.
Why?
And I don't show my body all the time.
Okay, let's just leave that for everybody.
I
mean, most of it is out and about.
I need this not to be called chai tea. I used to be called messy. That's what I needed to be called. Hashtag this episode is messy. But yeah, body sex siren and probably realness. But I want to be able to walk realness with painted nails. I don't want to have to walk realness without painted nails.
Wait, what's the difference between body and sex siren?
Sex siren is more about like sexy feel and sexy. No, it's not about physically having sex. It's about the line between and it's about sexual expression. You know?
Oh, got it.
If you want to have sex with me, that's on you. That's the kind of category. And then that's the kind of categories I want to walk. What's the other one? As in like question or what, the category that you want to walk? You said what categories I want to walk. What categories did you start with and what do you do now? Oh, I do Butch Queen. Vogue Femme. Well, I haven't walked in a while, but I would love to still walk Butch Queen, Vogue Femme. And that's what I started on. So my grand prizes are in hand performance, Butch Queen, Vogue Femme, best dress, runway. Did I say hand performance? I think I said hand performance already. Okay. What else? Is it? And a couple of the year awards from Paris, like someone who's done like a lot of work for the scene from London. Is it messy or shady to ask you when was the last time you won a trophy? No, it's not shady at all. I actually can't remember. I didn't say I won a award. The last time I think I won was in 3 years back. Oh, grand prize. Yeah, I wore best dress. Best in the females gluttony. I wore the red look. Is this the culture appropriation look that you wore? Not that one, the other one. That was actually themed, I think, Kill Bill, and actually I made that as well. And it's reversible on the inside. It was full with blood because that had to be a story. So I changed it around mid-performance. Whose blood was it? And then it was just fake blood that I did on the inside. I stitched it and then fake blooded it. And then it was like red and blue on the outside, white and something else on the inside. Nice. It carried. I won that day. And then, I won best dress, basically. Okay, cool. What does it take for someone to join a house or get chosen to be a house? And you described this very eloquently, and I just wondered if your views have changed on it, where you described what it takes for an individual or a house to become legendary, where you were like, what did it take Beyonce to become iconic or legendary? She did the work, you know, she did the work. It didn't just do that. So my question to you is that, do you still feel the same way, or is there a short answer to it? Again, because that was a loaded question again, and it wasn't streamlined. Just answer where you can. I can't even fucking remember. What does it take for someone to join a house, okay, or get chosen to? And what it takes for someone to join a house is dedication, number one. Dedicate yourself to the craft, to what you want to walk, to developing, to learning, and never be afraid to ask someone to join the house.
because I feel like there's a ethos right now where people feel like they don't have to ask to join the house, but no one's too rich for pride. And joining the house is a honor. And so you should aim for that as well as just ask if you want to join someone's house.
Can I join House of Revlon?
No.
Wow. The racist guys, you heard it, racism at its finest, and he also hates brown. Just want to put that out there.
How's it racism that I said you can't join the house?
Because I'm mixed race and I'm brown, and you said that I can't join, and
You're mixed race and you're brown.
You said that you hate brown, so there we go. I have a case.
Oh wow!
All right. I just wanted to ask you this in Sundown Kiki, but I never got to ask you this, and I asked Tristan to ask you.
Yes.
This. Go back to me.
Yes.
So I once was speaking to a classical Indian dancer, and she metaphorically described it as the art form did not choose, like she did not choose the art form chose her, and that when she chose her guru, which is basically the not the mentor, but kind of like that person who gives you all of the information, not just about the dance but the culture, that it was like a relationship. Do you know what I mean? And speaking to you about what you do right now, do you ever feel that you chose this path, or this path chose you?
This path definitely chose me. I always say I'm very surprised I'm still doing this. Obviously, I do all my shit from my heart, but in the same breath, I'm very surprised I'm still going. I am, because it's like there's so many bitches coming up in this scene who want to be just seen, and don't really have community behind them. So for me, yeah, I definitely think, and I also, I move countries and I'm doing the same thing. Create a space, making the classes accessible for all, being a hub for education, educating others where I can. I'm doing all those things again, and I did this already. And actually, in my head, I was like, I've done this already. Why am I doing this again in a country that I don't speak the language? It's just, again, I don't think actually, someone said to me, like, Nikki Gucci, she said to me from Paris, she was like, JJ, maybe this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I was like, I'm supposed to be going to all these different countries, making the scene, or building a scene, or building much more of a comfortable scene in these different countries. Like, this is so much stress. Like, it's so much stress. Like, it's so much stress.
Yeah, but it's what you love doing, right? Like, you wouldn't be doing anything else.
I wouldn't. So,
and you're right. Be without it.
I don't know. Who knows? I would love to see that.
Well, we'll find out in 10 years.
Right. I'll be married in the countryside, hopefully.
In the countryside. All right, let's move on to your appearance.
Oh.
Okay. So I found this really beautiful, how you talked about your dreads and how they gave you confidence and you just couldn't describe it. And you were saying they just made you very clear.
Yeah.
And you also talk about how people think you're bold and you're transparent and you're confident, but you talk about like self-esteem and self-worth and loving yourself, and how dreads did that for you, and where it all came from, and how also you want to be part of a narrative for Black men, which is not just like being gay or being in the scene that, you had, I hate to say this word, but please correct me if I'm incorrect in saying this, but like another sob story is what I say to myself. I don't want to be just another sob story. I want to bring joy. I want to bring positivity. And you talk about that, right?
Yeah.
So I want to just ask this, knowing you for as little as I know you and still getting to know you, I feel like there is a not a polishness to you, but a strength to you. And I'm always intrigued to know, where is the vulnerable side? Where is the side that people get to see, the fragile side of it? And who do you show that to? And what makes you happy, pal?
Fried chicken. Like, bitch, how fried chicken don't make, if fried chicken don't make you happy, you sad. You're sad.
I don't eat meat, so.
Oh, do you know what? I'm here for the vegans. I made a really good vegan meal. I have to make it for you one time, but you have to come to Barcelona, because I feel like this is my territory.
Okay, cool. You make a vegan paella, is that what it is?
No, I made this like vegan stew because a friend of mine is vegan. And I was like, I'll make you dinner. And then I was like, it'll be all vegan. I was like reading the instructions of everything. Because you know, I buy like chicken seasoning, but it's not chicken seasoning, it's seasoning you're supposed to put on chicken. But you can put in anything. I had to read it to make sure like there was like no chicken extract in the chicken seasoning, but it's just paprika and onion and blended. But what makes me happy? Fried chicken. But also fish, you know, food coffee.
Do you still like your coffee with chai latte in there? Was it a double shot?
A dirty chai.
A dirty chai. You taught me about that. Do you know that? I never knew that.
I taught you. I also had to teach a restaurant here actually because I said, "Do you do a dirty chai?" And they were like, "No." And I said, "Can you make a chai latte with oat milk and then put a double shot of coffee in that?"
Yeah.
And then the next time I went down, I said, "Can I have a dirty chai?" She knew what I meant. Not hard.
Did you make that up, or did somebody?
No. It's a thing. Like, where the hell did I hear that? I already liked chai lattes because I have them.
So British.
In general.
Chai lattes.
To be honest, I never really had a chai latte. I didn't even know what the hell it was, but someone told me it had really good properties, like matcha.
Gentrification, you guys. That's what.
But it's like matcha, no?
Sure, let's go with that.
I don't know. I didn't know because I heard it was like slow releasing energy. It's like really good for you. And I don't drink milk because I'm lactose, but I do eat mac and cheese. Just have to put that out there.
It's a heavy day for anybody involved in the area around JJ.
No.
Oh, you don't fart or like?
I'm manageable. I know how to manage I'm a grown woman. I know how to manage my shit. I don't do whatever I want. Anyway, I never knew what it was, but then I was obsessed with them because there's a really good place that does them. So I always got it every day. And then once I find my thing, I find my thing. I'm very much like, don't really like change. And then there was, especially with like food and stuff, like if I tried it like this, like why is it not like that? I don't know. I think it was the place across from Young Vic, you know? Gales? Gales. That place, like the cheese straw.
I haven't had dinner.
Where the hell did I hear someone have a dirty chai?
It's okay, we digress. Move on to the vulnerability. Come on.
I'm vulnerable all the time. I wear my heart on my sleeve. If I'm vexed, I'm vexed. If I'm happy, I'm happy. If I'm sad, I'm sad. I say it. I'm very much like transparent with it. Like, guys, not feeling good today. To be honest, I used to do a lot of stuff like talking to camera on Instagram, and obviously I haven't done a lot of that, and there's no real reason for it. Even though people do ask me like, "Why are you not saying that in my eye? I'm in here." But for me, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm kind of changing. I think like I've never lived alone before. I think I'm learning a lot through that. So vulnerability is like handling your shit by yourself kind of thing, which I never really had to have. I'm also a person who loves love. I love relationships and stuff like this. So I think my vulnerability always
JJ like my is single right now, so please send your applications DM. That is JAY REVLON. That's on every social handle. Please send that through. Thank you.
So my vulnerability always like fell on like my partner, my best friend Lee, or my like partner who I'll be with Lee. So my best friend Lee mainly, my mum, very transparent with her, friends of mine who I call like I'm an unpacker. I don't like to hold on to things. And also if I feel some type of way, I always feel like I should say it at the time because I don't like to I can't go to bed with like something sitting on my mind.
Chip on your
shoulder. That's something negative. Yeah, I can't do that. And I hate when others do it to me. So I kind of like live by example. I try to live by example. Okay. So yeah, like vulnerable always. Like, bitch, I told you, like when I came to Sunday Kiki one day, like I was so like upset with so much things that I ended up crying on the train on my way from getting my nails done.
Yeah, but that was to like a couple of people. I don't think you said that to everybody.
I thought I said it to you.
Yeah, you said it to me, and I think Bam Bam.
Oh.
And
yeah,
Dylan was there as well.
Yeah, because I was super worried about things. So yeah, I'm very transparent. Like in terms of if I don't feel like something well or feel like shit, like I'm very transparent.
Fab. As mentioned in the start, and I'll do in my intro as well, you have different hats, you do different things. How do the things ever battle with each other, or they're seamless?
Oh, always.
Let me finish my question.
Okay, madam.
Do they have a conflict?
First she said answer quickly, then she says answer slowly. I'm like, bitch, she's a lady.
I never said answer slowly. I said let me finish my question and then you can go. Yes, you wear different hats. Do they have a conflict with each other? Do they ever seamlessly go into it? And how do you balance all of them whilst trying to keep a relationship and just stay sexy for, you know, the bees and the traps?
Stop. Call me honey. Honey.
That's Mariah Carey.
So I know, because I'm honey, bitch.
No,
So,
I'm saying it for the dicks that don't know and are like, you know, the new generations.
what's going on?
It's
break my knee so I can move. So
do they ever?
Oh, they do clash. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So yes, all the time. There's always a clash somewhere. I'm really bad at managing time. Especially being overseas. But also now I push myself to be in a calendar. And it's so crazy because I push myself to have a calendar. And for some reason, my phone made a new calendar. So all my calendars go in this new calendar. And then I have to do some dumb shit to transfer them over. So I can't see everything on my laptop, on my phone. And this is the kind of shit I deal with all the time. On top of it, in my emails, like I hate people booking my flights. This is like so random because when you book your flight, it pops up automatically in your calendar. When people book your flight for you and you send you the ticket, that doesn't happen. And when you don't write meetings in the,
Unless
but I have to manually go. But this shows me like the airport, the distance, even though I do know the distance, but it's like what terminal it is really important for me to just like be able to look at the calendar for that instead. I just have a formulation. As I said, I don't like change, but the formula of how my calendar breakdown, I've kind of like got better. And actually I tell people to send me like invites or evites, not I'll put in my calendar because I think it's best when like two people are like we're going to meet, So like it does clash. But the thing is, I find ways around it. Today, this was going to clash, but I moved what I had to do to next week.
Oh, dude, you should have just told me.
No, because it was my bad. I agreed to do this months ago. So the fact that I agreed to do it months ago is just priority. I hold that. Yeah, and then he was not going to turn up to something tomorrow because it wasn't in my calendar, but now it's in my calendar. Even when I spoke to my best friend, I posted up like some gigs in April and he literally said to me, put it in your calendar right now. And I did. I did it a little bit later, but I put it in my calendar finally. But like things do clash. It's just about how you fix them and how you find a way. And sometimes the clash is not even something that's like, this clash is always my fault. I always see clashes as my fault. But sometimes the clash is like somebody, like you do a gig and they want you to tech from like 1 p.m. I have to do that at 1. So I find a loophole always.
Yes, you do.
There's a hole in everything.
That is the tagline of this. Things clash, but there's a hole in everything.
Yeah, things do clash, but there's a hole in everything.
And how do you say sexy whilst trying to manage with like,
how
do you make
No.
I don't.
My hairdresser, my barber, shout out Shane, my barber.
Got it.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't look like this. I remember he DM'd me telling me how bad I looked, and I went and I booked my appointment the next day.
Is this?
Actually, I really feel like booking an appointment. Oh shit! I had to book an appointment for tomorrow.
Is this?
Love him.
The digital space. How much does it matter to you, the digital space? How does it transfer over into actual work? Because I'm always intrigued by influencership. And do you feel like, no, I've asked you the sellout situation, but do you feel like a sellout sometimes doing the whole, now you got a tick and things like that? And do you feel like an influencer?
This space is actually really important just to hold up space. Numbers don't matter. I got verified when the verification is very much a weird place. It's not something that is like you hit a certain number, you get verified. It has to do with the amount of articles as you've read in this conversation. And, you never know if you're going to get approved. It's just like, it just happens. So that's the first thing. The second thing is digital space to hold is really important. To archive is very important. But you don't stand for something and you're just doing it for social interactions, like look at me, I'm at the beach or something like this, then that's a different, I don't know what you're really like here for. If you're here to show your best life and people invest in that, that's what you are more than welcome to do that. But if there's something you want to say, I have something to say most times. So that's the only reason why I use social. I only use it because it's either one of my archive, it's how I archive like what I've done and the dates I've done them, because it comes up in that 5 year later situation, or I just use it because I like it. I like Instagram. I just like it. So I just use it. But it is important. It's not important. It's important that you don't take it too importantly. Do I get work from it? Yes. Do people DM me? Yes. But do I hate that? Yes. My email button is there for a reason. I use email because it's in one chronological order. like, yes, I do tell some people like, oh, if you can't get me, like, do what you need to do because I can slack on stuff like this because socials is actually it's like a lot. It takes out a lot of you. You know, I can do others. I can social manage, which I'm doing now. I can social manage for somebody else and tell them like, this is what you need to do. This is how you get better engagement. This is the kind of route you need to go down. But for myself, like, I'm not into TikToks. I'm not into challenges. I'm not into voguing on Instagram or voguing on TikTok. Those videos are recorded like probably 3 years back or 5 months back. You know, I'm not really into like social content making. You know, that's not my portion, nor my church or my sermon. So for me, I feel like I just float in terms of it. But I feel like digital engagement and social existence is important, obviously, because you want to be able to archive your shit. And when people say, oh, what have you done? You can just be like, boom.
Next question. At 19, you came out.
Yes.
That's it. I'm joking.
Why 19?
No. That wasn't the question. The question. At 19.
Why did I become a comedian?
Hey,
because I'm funny.
You talk about your mother and the 24-hour situation that happened, but now she loves you.
She's cool.
And you also talk about, like I talked about in regards to being a positive representation for Black gay men. I am just intrigued to know, how do you sit with your sexuality today? And are you comfortable and prideful in its nuances?
I don't know what that means. You start using big words.
Let's just take away the last
layman's terms, please. I don't care about these nuances and intersecting. I literally came out at 19. But why? I don't know. Oh, I was in love.
There was no why. That was joke.
I was ashamed. Sorry. Well, now you have it. I was in love. That's how I came out. I thought I don't want to live my life as a lie. Not as a lie, but I didn't want to live my life like having to toe the fence. I feel like being very honest in your existence, or being very honest. I don't really want to be a representation for like Black gay like men, but I just feel like I can. If you ask me about my upbringing, it was fine. You know, yes, you got beaten, but those were life lessons. Coming out was a drama 24 hours in my for 24 hours, and since then, like literally, I went back last week. My mom was like, "Any love interests?" And I was like, "No, all men are trash."
Does she want you to have kids?
Kids? I don't know. I want kids though. Who cares if she wants it? I don't care.
I'm just asking you.
Kids are my choice.
Don't be so defensive. Why are you being so defensive?
No, because it's like, does she want me to have kids? It's kind of like, who cares? Even if she did want that and I didn't.
Yeah, but it's just you know, mother's dreams.
And here's a balloon and here's a pin. Because like you can't put whatever dream or hopes or beliefs you wanted on me, you know? I definitely, if I had like my mom had me, I don't know, maybe 19, and she gave me everything, you know? And that's what I would want for my kids. And yeah, I want kids. I want 4 kids. That's how many kids I want. So let's see what the future holds. Yeah, I just feel like that's what I just want to be me. I just want to be me, Darren. But I just want to be me. Like I'm just like being me in these streets. That's why I'm not an activist. I'm active. Like I'm a clear representation. You asked about me, that I'm JJ, I'm Black, I'm gay, I'm loud, I'm happy, I'm inviting. Like that's the narrative, really. Yeah. And yeah, there's no real room for anything else. Like, yeah, I can be a bitch, you know. I own all my stars and stripes, you know. I own all of it. If it's real, I'm just going. If you say anything about me, you say I'm real. That's a Nene Leakes reference from Apprentice in New York with Lotto Jackson. It's funnier when you watch it. Yeah, I'm just like real. I'm just myself, you know. And I think that's what it's about, like being you. Like people say, yeah, I'm confident and I'm this and that. I'm literally like, yeah, I am to some degree, but you know, I'm also scared about being gay bashed. So there's two of those, you know. But sometimes I don't give a shit. Like, and also I don't want to fight. Like stuff like this, you know. I grew up in
a school where I thought you always told me how you want to fight.
Yeah, but then I also don't want. I'm down to fight, but I'm like, I don't want to fight. Like, I never want to fight somebody about like my homosexuality or them trying to press me or some shit. Like,
yeah.
I never want to be on that kind of side of the fence because it won't work out for me.
Yeah,
and I'm not even going into because of black, it's the taekwondo fighting in the back of my head that I'm going to use, which I can't because I ain't got no license. That's the brain that comes into it. And I never want to be in that space. Yeah, I'm just real about my emotion. As much as I'm real with myself, I'm real with others of how I feel with situations, and I'm as transparent. I feel like I'm going to be more and more transparent. I want to be that person that nothing phases me.
Yeah.
And everyone can always be flat out honest. Not problematic, honest. There's a difference.
You want to be Casper the Ghost?
No, I don't want to be Casper the Ghost. I'm going to be hook, line, and sinker. I'm going to be right here. I'm SWV with Michael Jackson.
I thought you meant Brandy right here.
No, I'm talking about SWV with the Michael Jackson edition with the I need that.
I think what makes a person kind of like not flatline, but continuously keeping to going and thriving in what they're doing is either their confidence, their grit, their spirituality, or the support of their loved ones. And that in results can turn into not success in terms of monetarily, but success of who they are as a person. And that translates into their talent and keeps wanting them to go further. But I'm intrigued in the fact that if you take away all those things and replace that with barriers after barriers after barriers, would they continue to do what they're doing today? So if we took away a lot of those things for you, would you continue to do what you're doing today and be the person who you are?
Well, the thing is, like, I have had barriers. Like, I've had many barriers in my life with like working in this field of work or being in ballroom, from your community, like people in your community side-eyeing you, to like organizations or venues looking at you as a new promoter and then charge you through the roof last minute about a bar spend that you can't hit. Like, I've gone through it all, but like if I didn't have the barriers, how the hell would I have had the backbone now to speak how I speak and to say what I say and take up space on how I do and have a very honest conversation about money and not shy away from like these conversations that people say are uncomfortable because they've never been put in a position where they have to have these conversations. Like, I prefer the barriers I've had, than an easy ride, because those that have easy rides never know the value of a pound. And I do, a pound will get you chicken and chips or 3 songs on your MP3 when I was back in secondary school. And I used to charge the girls because I used to have dial-up internet. So like, I understand the value of a pound. So I feel like it's very important that you do have these barriers. But the thing is, like, I think because my ethos is community and people having a space like I did, I think the question is, if I didn't have the dance space I had when I was then, if I had barriers at working in this field, would I still do it? Because there was barriers even in my dance group that I went to, applying for funding, doing fundraisers to keep the space open and stuff like this. And now the person who runs that is my best friend, I think because of what I saw and how dance helped me throughout my childhood, I think in terms of ballroom and adulthood, because many people in ballroom are adults and have stressful jobs or stressful lives and stuff like this, I think my only ethos is to make someone else have like a great time, and however I can do that, that's what I want to do. So regardless of all the barriers, with every no, there's a yes. That's how I really see it. So every venue that wants to say no or no this, they're going to come and say yes, they're going to come back around.
Well, what in regards to if your mother didn't come around after that 24 hours, or your relationship in regards to it?
It's a lesson. Like, if that happened,
it
is what it is. I think it'll be a hard road, and I might not have like great relationships with, certain people. Just because, I have like close friends of mine, who haven't had relationships with their parents or stuff like, or their relationship with their parents is different. I've had talking to even girls from Paris back in the day who used to be like, talking to my mum being like, you're 1 in a million because like you support the scene and this, that, and the other. And, some people have to go by alter ego. I don't know, like if my mum didn't, like I would still fucking thrive, because it's me, but it's like me versus the world in quotation marks. But I definitely think I would still be doing this shit. I think this is, I don't know, like, again, like I came to the scene as a novice, wanting to learn, like, Not like just wanting to learn like how people do with Erasmus and yoga. It's more like how I was interested in like being in the scene because I'm like Black and gay, and it spoke to me, and I used to watch Noah's Ark and stuff like this. And, I wanted like that. I wanted a relatable space, and I ended up finding it, but I ended up making it because the space that existed when I was trying to be in it was fucking super white, and that's the only reason why I even took my finger out of my butt to like do something, But if I had no support system, which I like, I've worked with like a close knit of friends and a good support group to get to a position where I don't really give a fuck that much anymore. But I definitely think with Ballroom, my mum didn't support my ways of living life and this and that, but I definitely would still thrive. I think I will thrive even extra hard because of that. I think I'll be sad for some time, of course.
Yeah.
But I would thrive after that, I think you can't keep that, you can't let the nose block your blessings and what you're supposed to set out to do. Like you can't. Like that's not an option. No one can take that as an option. You cannot take no as like, when you don't get into the school you want to go to. Try again next year or something like this. Like girl. Like it's not a no forever, and that's what people forget. Like your parents might not talk, you might not talk to them forever, but that's what it is, and they don't want that relationship. It's not good for you. What would you rather be in?
Yeah.
No relationship with your parents, or would you rather be in a relationship with your parents but always have to hide who you are or act different or this, that, and the other? I prefer to be 100% me. That's why when I was even get my wig glued, I called my mom. That's how much I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
She loved it. She said it looked great. Even when I went CFC, I bought fucking chicken and chips and a bonnet, came back home, just wig out, like all the way down. Her issue was with the length.
That was too long or it was too
She's
short?
like, why's your wig so long? She's like, why'd you want to sit on it? Nah, man.
Wasn't
that's
it like
not me?
hair? I felt like it was
36 inches down to my butt cheek, underneath the butt cheek.
I thought 40 inches is where.
I wanted 42, but the hairdresser couldn't get me 42.
How tall are you? You're about
5'11".
You're about mine.
Yeah, we're the same height.
Yeah, we're the same height. Let's play some games.
It better not be this 5 fucking questions shit that you tried to get me to do before, because you don't know how to count 5.
Let's quickly do this. All right, the games are called, the section of the games are called Sip a Chai or Play with Rye. So if you want to play with Rye, that means you answer. If you don't, you sip your chai. But I feel like you're going to play with Rye, as wrong as that sounds. All right. This section is called If I Was. So if I was to say, if I was a color, what would you be? You'll say
Red.
Fabulous. So if I was a film, what would the title of that film be? First thing that comes to your head.
Passion of Christ.
What would the storyline be?
Me finding the scene, the same, basically.
What would the title song be?
Mike Hugh, Master Blaster.
Do you want to sing it a little bit?
Do the Crash.
Beautiful. Who would it star?
Me.
Oh, you're good. Why does everybody want to star in their own film? Why?
Who doesn't?
I don't.
Depiction. Why not?
If you were a TV show character throughout the entirety of the time, what would it be?
Tommy from Rugrats.
I loved Rugrats. I would be the girl, the bully girl.
Angelica.
Yeah, that would be me.
Makes sense.
Yeah. If you were
That's why I'm Tommy. Because Tommy's like the smartest of the group.
If you were a drink, what would you be?
Whiskey or Rioja. Red.
If you were a color, what would you be?
Tom Ford Vanilla Ode.
I said color.
Oh, if he's a cologne.
Cologne.
Red.
Red. If you were a food, what would you be?
Fried chicken.
No,
I'll be surf and turf.
If you were,
I want chicken. Is chicken still surf and turf? But chicken and prawns, basically.
If you were a fruit, what would you be?
Fuck, that's actually hot. Mango. No. Lychee.
You've said mango.
Lychee.
You said mango.
I'm a lychee.
No, you're not.
Kind of the same thing, actually. Strong skinned.
Actually, okay, sure, let's go with it. If you were a flower, what would you be?
I don't really know flowers. Lily?
Okay. If you were a clothing item, what would you be?
Tracksuit.
If you were a pose of any kind, what would you be?
Dara dog.
If you were an object, what would you be?
I don't really pose. Candle.
If you were a smell, what would the smell like?
Tom Ford Vanilla Wood.
Okay, this section is called Have You Ever? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever farted whilst performing?
Yes.
Have you ever broken or injured yourself?
Yes.
Have you ever had a wardrobe malfunction?
Yes.
Have you ever forgotten a step of choreography and improv?
Yes.
Have you ever slept with a fellow house member?
No.
Have you ever slept with the house or the mother of a house?
No.
Not your house, any house.
No.
Have you ever flirted to get a head? Not a head, but unless you want to, do that, but a head.
Oh no.
Okay.
Let's get ahead. I'm trying to think. Is getting ahead getting what you want? Or is it just getting ahead of
Yeah, just getting ahead, getting something that you want, or getting a leg up on something. I always think of it.
No, I feel like my work always showed for itself. So even if I tried to flirt, my work already showed itself. So this flirt would have been irrelevant.
Okay, I'm here for it. Hello, everyone. We were just playing some games from my Sip a Chai or Play with Rye section. But the next section is very visual because we played some dance games and I cannot put that on podcast form. So I'm going to pop that up on YouTube and I will link all of that up in the description of the podcast in a couple of days when I've uploaded it. But as of right now, let's continue with our chat with Jay Jay Revlon.
This is it.
This is it. All right. I closed the show with asking these questions, which is...
You asked so many questions.
Thank you. Peaks and valleys is a question. Peak is the highest point of your personal and professional life. What was it? What lesson you learned from it? A valley is a low point of your personal and professional life. What was it? What lesson you learned from it? You don't have to share too much. If you don't want to, you can just quote yourself, but go.
Peak is always working. Sometimes working 3 gigs over a set of weekends. That would be a peak. Like I kind of do love that, but the downfall is that I'm fucking shattered and absolutely on the brink of a breakdown most times, because I commit or agree to go to too many things. I'm not really a person that's like, oh, I have this gig, so I can't do that. I always make a way of making it happen. Hence why clashes happen in my diary, but then they don't because I just fix myself to burn myself out, basically. So yeah, I think my lesson is that I need to, I have learned about burning myself out, especially not being in a busy city like London at this moment in time, but just taking like Sunday and Monday off, basically. It's kind of changed. I'm kind of working Mondays, but I will be reintroducing not doing anything on Monday except for Spanish classes. But yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, I kind of learned a lot of like, not self-will, but like spending time by yourself and stuff like this and taking time out for you. I cancelled everything I had to do on Sunday and Monday because I thought to myself, why the fuck am I going to a meeting on Sunday? Also, I don't feel good. I'm shattered. But also, why am I going to a meeting on a Sunday where the supermarket and the clothes shops like H&M are closed?
Oh yeah, they do close them on Sundays in some
They close everything on Sunday. So like, you can't even buy you can't buy shit on a Sunday, except for like there's like a meat place near my house. But if you like say you vegan, well you are, but like you would have to do that in advance. Like I would have to like when I cooked for my friend, I think I went out on like the Friday or the Wednesday or something because I was like, I'm shook. It might be closed.
And the valley?
Valley is the shadow of death. Lowest point of my like probably career. No, lowest point. My granddad passing basically was the lowest point. And what was crazy about that is that I had to host a ball in Berlin and I got the call at 1:30 that my granddad passed, and then Berlin time, and then I had to host a ball for 6 hours, and that was like the lowest point of my life, to be honest. Like when my granddad passed, but so many lessons came out of that. I'm independent. I learned that through all of that. Like, I can still do it even though I don't have this person in my life. Yeah, blessing and not blessing. Yeah, it's a little bit of a blessing and a curse. Not blessing that he passed, but him passing would never put me up. Would never made me be like, oh, I want to stay in a different country for a bit.
Got it.
Yeah.
What words of encouragement or love would you give to your mirror self today?
Self-worth is out there. Know your self-worth. No matter how people look at you different, you're still a bad bitch, basically.
What's the ultimate gift for you? Like when you have it, you'll be at peace.
Buy my mum's house. Buy my mum a house, buy myself a house, have 4 kids. No, literally buying a house, having my own bricks, putting my money into bricks.
Yeah.
And have my own house, peak. Can't tell me nothing after that.
Okay. Fair. Bitch don't is a new section where you have 30 seconds to rant about anything. You start with the words bitch don't, and your time will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What I really have to say is the cultural venues is that you always keep saying that you didn't know this existed. You didn't know there was a scene. Also, to all the people that feel like ballroom doesn't exist in the world of the UK, pick your fingers up, okay, off the dry work meetings and dry coffee in the mornings and go on Google, go to Starbucks, go on Google and educate yourself, because you not educating yourself makes you look foolish, and take accountability.
Beautiful. Well, everyone, that brings us to an end, and I hope you enjoyed that. I want to say a massive thank you to the guest for their time. All of the information about the guest, myself, and the show will be listed in the bio. Make sure to follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Show us all some love, because isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Some love. Your support really helps the show and the message of it grow, and the people that are on here. Thank you again, and as I always say, breathe in, breathe out. I must go, which means now I must go. I own that is copyrighted and I will sue. Joking. Have a great one and stay curious. Till next time.